Hello, candle lovers! Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Greg, and this is All About Candles. And today I have an episode of what I like to call Love at First Sniff ? And usually my Love at First Sniff videos are for candles that are a little bit more niche, but today I'm gonna do a Bath & Body Works Love at First Sniff because everybody has been talking about that Off the Vine candle, and I went into the store yesterday. The sale was buy 3 get 3 here in Canada, so I ended up getting 6 candles. I got Off the Vine, and I also got some repurchases, so we're gonna talk about those. And when I went into the store, the sales associate there, who I really love, I talk to her all the time. She was like, "Are you here for the Off the Vine?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And she was like, "Are you gonna smell it?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I want to wait because I'm filming an episode of Love at First Sniff." And she looked at me like I was insane. So I haven't smelled this candle yet, even though I picked it up yesterday. I also had a 10 off 40 coupon, and so I ended up getting 6 candles. It actually worked out to be a pretty reasonable deal. So here we are, and here is Off the Vine. I think that the packaging is actually really nice. It's got sort of an appropriate kind of rustic sort of feel to it, which I enjoy. I've got to say, I'm getting really bored of the plain metal lids that Bath & Body Works uses still on most of their candles. I really think that they just need to start giving us cool lids on all of the candles, especially when it's a single fragrance launch. Give us a fun lid. Come on. I'm so sick of all these boring metal lids with the Bath & Body Works stamp on it. A red lid would have looked so cute on this candle. Maybe I have one in my stash and I'll replace it. Anyways, so the scent notes on Off the Vine are heirloom tomato, garden geranium, and Mediterranean moss. So, I am really intrigued. I like tomato candles. I don't like it if it smells like pizza sauce or something like that. That's not good. What I like is the vibe of a fresh tomato plant. Something a little bit earthy, something green. My prediction is that this was just gonna smell like a fruity floral, like a typical fruity floral from Bath & Body Works with a little bit of tomato in there. And that is still what I'm predicting that this is gonna smell like after reading those scent notes. Now, geranium scents are usually floral, fresh, green, maybe a little bit lemony, maybe a little hint of a mintiness or a rose note in geranium. And then moss I expect to be earthy, green, slightly woodsy, a little bit of freshness, a little bit of dampness perhaps. So I'm really hoping that this smells more than just Bath & Body Works body care fruity floral with a little bit of tomato. But let's find out, shall we? It smells like a really typical Bath & Body Works a fruity floral with a little bit of tomato. And I guess you can say that it's just a fruity floral because tomatoes are fruit, right? I think it's not as interesting as I was hoping that it would be, and I realize that they want to make this fragrance accessible. I think it's interesting that they're putting this out in all of the body care stuff. I wish that they would focus a little bit more on their candle collections, and maybe instead of trying to sell tomato body care, they could have just given us a tomato candle that was really, really really dug its heels into the earthiness, the dampness, the tomatoey goodness, the plant vibe. I think that the tomato note in here is getting a little bit overpowered by the floral geranium, to be honest with you. It's really not as interesting as I was hoping it would be. I was hoping that maybe they were gonna give us something super unique. Call me naive. I was really hoping for something a little bit more mossy, a little bit more green and leafy. What I pick up on first and foremost is that geranium scent note. You know, geranium sometimes, like I said, has a little bit of a sort of hint of mint or a hint of rose. I feel like there could be a little bit of that in here as well. I think it's a little bit more interesting than a lot of the run-of-the-mill body care fragrances we've been getting from Bath & Body Works lately, so that's something. I do pick up on a little bit of a greenness, and I do pick up on the tomato. It's definitely not like a pizza sauce type, pasta sauce type situation. It is more of like that fresh, like on the vine sort of tomato fragrance. And there is a touch of greenery in here, but I feel like it's more sort of like a leafy greenery than it is like a Mediterranean moss. I was hoping for something a little bit more interesting and pungent. However, I think that it's nice. I think it's nice enough. Predominantly, I think that it's a floral fragrance. What do you guys think if you've smelled it yet? Let me know in the comments below. I feel like this is mostly that geranium note. It's nice though. It's nice. I'm not going to be returning it or anything. I'm definitely going to burn it because I'm a curious George and I want to be able to report back to you guys. I'll probably start burning it fairly shortly here. It's not bad. It's just not as interesting as I would have liked for it to have been. The sales girl at Bath & Body Works, she confessed to me that she didn't like it. She confessed to me that she didn't like it, and most of the sales associates didn't like it, and that there were some question marks as to like how this was gonna sell and if this was gonna sell. And what I think that they should have done is just not bothered with the body care, just release it as a really neat, interesting tomato candle. You know, Bath & Body Works has gotten very, very, very uninteresting lately, and this was an opportunity for them to do something really, really different. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a fruity floral, right? A fruity floral with a little bit of the tomato and a little bit of that greenness. It's nice. I like it. I was hoping that it would be stronger, a little bit more potent, a little bit more rustic. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. It's just fine. I mean, I guess I should give them a little bit of credit. This is one of the more interesting fragrances that they've done for a very long time, but that's in part because the bar for that right now is so incredibly low. You know, I was hoping that this was going to be a little bit more robust, a little bit more interesting, but it's just another like perfectly lovely Bath & Body Works body care fragrance. I would absolutely not want to wear it, you know, and it's come out in everything. They got the cream, the lotion, the shower gel, the whole kit and caboodle for this, and I really don't think that I would want to wear it, and I really don't think I'd find it an attractive scent on somebody else, to be honest with you. But you know what? I'll give Bath & Body Works a little bit of some points. I'll give them some points for doing something slightly out of the box, but you know, they didn't really swing the bat hard enough for me with this one. I think it'll be a nice burn. I think it'll be a lovely burn. It'll be interesting to see how it performs, and you know, it's always interesting to see if something smells a little bit different when you're burning it than it does on cold. Maybe this will really come alive and have a little bit more depth to it when it's burning. Maybe I'll start burning it tonight. Why not? Off the vine, folks. Bath & Body Works. This has been what everybody's been talking about for quite a while now. And, you know, I hate being left out of a movement, so I had to pop into the store yesterday and grab one. I also picked up like 5 other candles because of the sale. It was buy 3, get 3, right? So 6 candles. I had a 10 off 40 coupon. So I did some repurchases. And one of the candles I actually repurchased was this Always and Forever, the bridal collection. I am about 3/4 of the way done burning this candle right now, so I'll have a full-length review out for it pretty soon. And I have to say, I've really, really loved it, and it's been a fantastic performing candle also. The scent notes are pearlized pink pepper, white roses, and sheer sandalwood. And I actually think it's a really, really lovely, nicely balanced, slightly woody, beautiful rose fragrance. I just did a review of Looking Rosy from Goose Creek, and unfortunately for that Looking Rosy candle, I was also burning this candle around the same time. This fragrance really stole the thunder from that candle for me. I love rose fragrances, and I think this is a lovely one. I'll go as far as to say right now, I think it's one of the best rose fragrances from Bath & Body Works that I've smelled in a really long time. So much so that here I am repurchasing it, bridal pink and white and all, you know? And then I just picked up some of my favorite good old standbys that I wanted to have a couple extra for this summer. I grabbed a blush, amber, and peony from the Neutrals line. I talk about this candle all the time. The scent notes on it are sweet peony, warm musk, and golden pear, and it is just so deep and rich and strong and sort of wine forward, and it's a wonderful performer. It's so strong, and it actually smells really nice and sort of elevated and like an expensive fragrance. I love blush, amber, and peony. I burn one of these every like 1 or 2 months, so I needed to get myself another one. Also grabbed myself another Mahogany Coconut. I talk about this candle a lot too. Needed to do another. The scent notes are creamy coconut, mahogany woods, and English lavender. This is probably my favorite coconut fragrance from Bath & Body Works at the moment. I burn quite a few of these every summer ever since it came out. So I'm happy to have another one of those in my little stash. And also Mahogany Vanilla. I wasn't a big fan of this sort of like old-timey packaging, but you know, when Mahogany Vanilla didn't come out again in the last wave of summer candles, I'm not sure if we're gonna see it come out this summer, so I needed to have another one in my stash. The scent notes are warm vanilla, fresh bergamot, and sweet sandalwood. Oh, I love this one. It's just so rich and creamy and very like mid to low range and woodsy. And it's very, very sweet without being super like saccharine or sugary. I absolutely love Mahogany Vanilla. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to check out my thoughts on this Off the Vine candle. I do have to say, it's probably my least favorite candle of the stuff that I picked up yesterday. But hey, what can you do? I'm gonna give BBWs some points for maybe being mildly interesting at this point. Anyways, I'm gonna sign off now, folks. You can follow me on Instagram at allaboutcandles and email your burning questions to allaboutcandles@gmail.com. If you could hit me up with a like, comment, subscribe to my channel, that would mean the world to me. And until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Bye now.